Welcome to Freddy's. Have you met them yet?
Met who?
Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy.
And here we go.
It's the comic book bullies.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
It's the comic book bullies.
You will bow down before me!
It's the comic book bullies.
Now I am the master.
It's the comic book bullies. It's the comic book bullies.
The following the following contains offensive language and spoilers. Listener discretion is advised. Bam, 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 bam. Welcome, everybody, freaks and geeks, getting freaky in the sheets. This is Comic Book Bullies. I am, for some reason, hosting tonight. This is Eli, aka the Teenage Witch, with my co-host.
And it's me, Leroy, aka the freak that comes out at night. I guess.
In the Haunted House of Rock.
In the Haunted House of Rock, exactly. What was they do? Frankenfurter? I'm not Frankenfurter. Never mind. I just remember what that was for a second. Yeah, shout out to me, shout out to Eli, and shout out to Boom, the AI. Because we couldn't do it without them. And also we also got man, he wasted no time. Yo, we finally get a warning.
Man. Yeah.
We finally go. I did not know you were sitting there waiting, Jake, but yeah, we appreciate you coming in there. So he is in there and ready to go. So yeah, like I said, we
got
actually
the
thought
notifications on and shit.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be like a nonsense show. You're going to come in here and just talk about it. Don't worry about it. We have the banner up. We are going to talk about Five Nights at Freddy. I don't know why you want us to, but if you click on this, you will get it. But before we do that, we got to do our due diligence because for some reason, right before Halloween, the Dias Les Muertos, I'm pretty sure I screwed that up. Somebody fact check me. Somebody Spanish check me.
You gotta roll the R's, man.
I gotta really. I'll do it next time. But yeah, a lot of stuff happened this weekend, so we're just gonna run through it because I was gonna actually take time with each one until another one came in, and another one came in, and another came in. I'm like, wow, okay. So first off, pair of specs to the dead. Boom. First, we're gonna start with Richard Roundtree. Now, reason we're gonna start with Richard Roundtree because he is a big factor in pop culture. So yes, we got to start off with him. For those who don't know who Richard Roundtree is Shaft. He did a lot of stuff, but he is Shaft. Like Pretty much. Is Who Is the Man? Shaft. Damn right. All the stuff like that. So he did that. Thing I like about Shaft, like I said, he came up in the blaxploitation era. There was a lot of blaxploitation movies going around. But when we talked about they clone Tyrone, we always talked about how all of our blaxploitation heroes were drug dealers and pimps and things like that. Shaft, on the other hand, was a private detective. He didn't have his hands dirty or anything like that. He was a private detective, decided to go down there, clean up the streets. So that's what I like about Shaft. So he wasn't like a ex-criminal or anything like that. No, he wanted to do good and bang some chicks on the way while he was doing it. So he did that. Funny thing is, I think the last movie that Richard Roundtree did, well, at least the last one that I know of, was Shaft. So
Shaft 2? Was that the remake or the reboot or something?
Well, it's the sequel to the remake of the reboot, but it's also a sequel to that one because I don't know. It's Shaft. That's all I know.
It wasn't because they did a remake sort of with Samuel L. Jackson,
but technically it wasn't a remake because Richard Roundtree was in that one also.
Yeah, and he's his son or something.
That's the thing. In that movie, he was his nephew. And then in the last movie, they retconned it. He was like, "Oh no, I'm really your dad." They just threw that in there just all of a sudden. Like he made me think he was a nephew, but he's really my dad. So that's what happened like that. A lot of people don't know that people that have seen this movie, the guy on the left, the OG Shaft, Richard Roundtree, Samuel Jackson. That is what's that dude's name? I know his name. A-Train. That's what it is.
About the kid or whatever,
that's A-Train from The Boys.
Okay.
Yeah, that's him. So they try to make him a thing in Hollywood and realize because he was in like Independence Day 2 playing Will Smith's son. Like no,
He's everybody's son. Or whatever.
He's everybody's son. Like, no, stop trying to make him a thing.
Yeah. He's A-Train.
Yeah, he's A-Train now. I forgot this movie got made. A lot of people did. Most people didn't know it got made, and I forgot. They just never knew. So yeah, same. But actually, like Richard Roundtree did a lot of stuff in between. Then he was in Steel. He played like his Lucius Fox character. You know, the guy that fixed Steel shit. He was a mechanic that fixed stuff like that. So that's his thing. One thing I do, like I said, this is a comic book podcast, so we gotta say what Shaft influence on comic books, because without Shaft, we don't get Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Marvel saw, because like I said, the blaxploitation craze was just that big. Marvel wanted to jump in on it. They want to cash in on it. Just like when Shang-Chi, the Kung Fu era craze was big, they made Shang-Chi and Iron Fist to cash in on that. They made Luke Cage to cash in the blaxploitation race. So without Shaft, you don't get Luke Cage. Without Luke Cage, you don't get Black Lightning. Without Black Lightning, you don't get Black Vulcan. Without Black Vulcan, you don't. It's a snowball effect.
The House of Ideas.
Exactly. Always still. So yeah. So rest in peace, Richard Roundtree. Like I said, we got a bunch.
Good journey, sir.
Yeah. So next one we got on here is man, this one hit me. This one hit me. Richard Moll.
Yeah.
This one hit me because here's the funny thing about it. Like, this is Richard Moll. If you don't know who he is Bull Shannon from Night Court, which, in my opinion, one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. It just,
we're old. Now we're showing our age. Yes, we grew up on Night Court. One of the best theme songs of all time.
And this what really made me sad when I saw it, because I saw this on Facebook, man. Like, this all this left.
Yeah.
Everybody else gone. Like, wow. Now, even though I do say that Night Court is out, and yes, they did reboot it this year with a new cast. Do not watch that bullshit. Please don't. It's terrible.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I tried we were gonna review it. Remember, we were talking about reviewing it, and I watched like the first 4. Like, I binged like the first 4 episodes, and I don't know if I even laughed at.
No, it's terrible. I watched the whole thing. Just to see what was going on.
Man.
It was terrible. Yes, just because I was clean. You know what's funny about it? Before that show even came out, I marathon Night Court, like the old 80s show. Earlier this year. All 9 seasons. It's 9 seasons. I didn't even know that growing up it was 9 seasons on it. They had like new people popping up at the end and shit. Like, who is this person? So so all kinds of storyline stuff. So shout out to wait, are we talking about the reboot? No, we are not talking about the reboot. We are not talking about the reboot at all. Also, since this is a comic book podcast, we have to say what Richard Moll brought to the role also, because he was also Two-Face on Batman animated series.
That's right.
Yeah, that was him.
He did a lot of voices and shit.
He did a lot of voices.
He was in a lot of shit. Like, as an 80s baby who grew up watching 80s movies and shit, he was like the villain in so many movies. Metal Storm, Dungeon Master, like all those like B movies that
he was all like the big
went straight to video and shit.
Yeah. Barbarian type. Just the number one.
The original House. The movie House, that horror comedy House and shit. Yeah, he was like the zombie soldier and that. So many fucking, he was, because he was big. He was a tall dude.
Yeah, so he was imposing whenever he showed up. So
yeah, and so he just looked, wasn't he like Wishman? Oh no. He's been in some horror movies too. I better look that up. But yeah, he was in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but like I said, Night Court is where he made his name, you know. Funny joke, like I said, when they off because basically they saw him in one of those B movie sci-fi movies, and that's how he got the role to Night Court. But since he was bald in one of those movies, they were like, "Do you mind shaving your head for this role of Night Court?" He was like, "Shave my head. Give me a job. I'll shave my ass."
Yeah. So Sword and the Sorcerer. Yeah, he was in
bunch of stuff. Okay.
A lot of 80s B flicks, straight to video, late night cable movies and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did a voice on the Incredible Hulk too.
No. That wasn't him. That wasn't him.
Oh, okay. He's popping.
That was Lurch.
Really?
Yes, like the opening, David Banner, blah, 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 blah. That was Lurch that did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, unless he did something else, so yeah.
Let's see another character. I don't know. I just Googled and he's popping up on a lot of shit.
So. All right. But that means that we're gonna move on. Like I said, we got a bunch of them. Yeah. We got a bunch of them because this is like either today or yesterday. I can't remember when this happened. We got to talk about Mathew Perry. Now, the reason we say this for last, because I'll be honest with you, I don't know about you, Eli, I wasn't the biggest Friends fan. Not that I had anything against the show. That just wasn't my thing. You know, I was more of a Living Singles fan. That's my thing.
Likewise.
Right.
I could not get into Friends. I'm sorry. I mean, I just couldn't. Tried, watched. My cousin was into it, tried to get me to watch. I just wasn't. It didn't appeal to me. Huge show. I know a lot of people loved it.
And that's the thing, because the show was so big, it permeated pop culture.
Yeah.
Like, it's just some things that permeate pop culture so much that, like, for instance, we all know Wayne Gretzky. None of us have seen a hockey game before, but we know who he is. Same thing with Friends. No matter if you've seen the show, you know what Friends is. You know that person was from Friends. That person came up from Friends. And it's like, it doesn't matter whether you watched it or not. It was just that big of a deal. Friends is the best show of all time.
Hey, a lot
Jake,
of people think,
you weren't even born when Friends was out, Jake. You're just saying stuff.
2002. How old
right. Wait for the reboot. I will say this about that. From what I do remember of Friends, I will say this: as far as Chandler, I think we can all agree. Well, anybody that watched the show can agree. He was the funniest of them. That was kind of his.
See that I am so out of it on Friends. I don't even know their names. I am. This is.
I know their names. I at least know that much. I know that much.
Totally out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get there, but anyway. But everybody that's seen the show, they agree, because that's kind of what his job was on the show. When they get in crazy shit, he say stupid shit to kind of like, you know, lighten the mood. That was his job on the show. He was the funniest guy. That was his job on the show. He played a bunch of other stuff also. He played like a Bruce Willis movie, 9 yards, whole 9 yards. And I think he made a sequel to that also. He was also in a 90s movie, Fools Rush In, with Selma Hayek.
I didn't see that. Because
personally, I couldn't take this movie seriously because I was like, there is no fucking way he can pull Selma Hayek. But to be honest with you, I don't think anybody can pull Selma Hayek. That's just me. You know.
Antonio Banderas.
Ed Norton.
Desperado.
Yeah. Antonio Banderas, the only person I can believe that can pull Selma Hayek. That's it.
We got to do a retro review on that whole trilogy.
Oh, Desperado, we got to. That's one of my favorite movies.
All the El Mariachi, Desperado, Once Upon a Time
in Mexico.
We got to do a whole week dedicated.
So that's my thing about that. So that's why we say Mathew Perry, for like, even though he's probably the biggest one out of all of them, but that I know the least about him. But like I said, this show was so big. It's like you can't name anybody in this country that don't know who he is. Doesn't matter whether you've seen the show or not. Yeah. They can point picture guy. Hey, that's the guy from Friends. So
I am aware of it as a concept.
Exactly.
I am aware of that Friends exists, but
right.
It didn't appeal to me. But I know it was huge. I know
if
a lot
you
of
grew up in the
90s,
you could not escape it. Remember, we only had three channels, 4, because Fox came around the time. So that's it. So that's all you had to watch. So you kids are spoiled now. But anyway, let's move on past that. All right.
Good journey, everybody. Yeah.
Good journey to y'all. So, like I said, this is right before the Day of the Dead, which is Halloween. What Halloween's supposed to be. So yeah. So that being said, we're gonna move on to some LC Live. I want to see how you're gonna get this. This is we're bringing it back. We're bringing back the box office numbers. So hold on. I know Jake got something right here.
Like you can't see this white.
We did a 30-minute bit on Cobra. So we've been showing our age for a while now. This ain't something new. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like have you been listening all month? Like all my horror movies I've been picking are at least 20 years old.
The 1976 classic, you know, like
yeah.
what the
Yeah, I'm old. We're old as fuck, man.
Yeah, hey, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna show our stuff. So yeah,
I got my slippers on right now.
Right, and that's how you know it's getting bad, because talking about Friends is showing our age. That's the 90s.
Yeah.
Like damn. Okay.
Yeah, that was before my kid was born.
Right. All right. So
I got kids. Yeah.
All right. So here we go. So Eli, give it to me. What do you think was the #1 movie of the week?
The Taylor Swift flick.
That's a good cut. That's a good guess. I'm gonna give it to you.
I hear it's been killing. I heard it make $1 billion. What is it?
It is not. But it is close. It's gonna be one of the highest grossing movies of the year when it's all said and done. But the highest grossing movie this week was
damn, no.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
This movie went to theaters. No shit.
This movie we watched it on Peacock. You could watch it at home. People didn't care. They went home Here's the thing: nobody has Peacock. That's the thing. That's how you know. So yes, and people were telling me that they went and it was a packed theater, like for Five Nights at Freddy. This is one of the 78 million. That's one of the highest opening weekends of 2023.
Because this game came out, like my kid played this when he was little.
Yeah.
So that had to be at least 10 years ago when he was playing this game.
Damn. So you're telling me 2014 is like old? I mean, that's when the game came like 20.
I guess like the kids who played this game when, you know, as kids are now adults and they're like, oh my God, they're going to go see this movie now. That's how I'm taking it for if it's number one at the box office.
And like by a wide margin, not like it kind of squeaked by nothing like that.
70 something million.
Like Captain Marvel 2 will kill to make these numbers that they're saying right now. So that Five Nights at Freddy did this. So this is insane the way that's why I had to show you, because I was like, I had no idea the movie made that much money. And it was on streaming. Like you didn't have to go to the theaters. You could have just watched it at home. People still went to the theaters to watch this movie. So yeah.
Well,
and one of the highest grossing movies of the year. This is insane, but it is what it is. That's the world we live in now. So
that is crazy. I feel bad for them.
but now we're here, Eli. Now we're here. Like I said, we saw the movie. I didn't go to the theaters. I don't know if you went to the theaters.
No.
Okay, you didn't go. We didn't. Neither one of us went to the theaters. We stayed at home and we watched it on Peacock, also known as the Cock. So that's where we watched it. And like I said, Eli,
he is silent. Yeah.
Right. Now, Eli, you know the rules. It's a horror movie. I know it's a video game movie. But
no, man, that's you. It's a video game movie.
No. Well, like we need to draw straws or something. Oh, get this killer flower.
Oh man,
okay. I'm gonna help you out. Eli. I'm gonna help you out. It's going to be on Apple TV.
Yeah,
and very soon. Yeah.
And I'm not so keen on the native trauma movies that we always get, so I'm not looking for, as much as I love Scorsese and this movie looks awesome and epic as fuck. I know I'm gonna be sitting being pissed off for 3.5 hours is nothing I look forward to. So, and I know the story. I am aware of this history even before they announced the movie. I know what happens. I know how fucked up the history is. So and I know how Scorsese does it. Scorsese's violence is brutal as fuck. So do I want to see Native women get the Scorsese style violence? Not really. So I'm not looking forward to seeing this. I want to see it. I'll eventually see it, but I'm not not looking forward to being pissed off and angry and sad for that long. So yeah, that's my 2 cents right now. But I have not watched it yet. I've been hearing good things from natives and non-natives alike.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering, who did you hear this from? You know,
me and Fat T, we were talking about it. He's like, you see that Scorsese flick yet? And I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna wait for streaming. He's like, yeah, I don't know, man. We were both talking. Yeah, man, I'm gonna be pissed off. It's like, there ain't no happy ending. We know the story. We know what happens. Like, you know, we were talking, man, Tarantino should have made this movie, because then he would have we would have got that fake happy ending like in Inglourious Basterds or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We'd had that fantasy ending and shit. Like, yeah, man, you should give us a happy ending. You know, give us a win for a change. But yeah, but have not seen it yet.
Okay, now I know you're trying to diverge. Five Nights at Freddy.
And here's Leroy's full review.
You don't want me to talk about. Okay, it's a video game movie. So I'll talk about it. I'm gonna go into it. Okay, here is my review of Five Nights at Freddy. If it's shocking for anybody, okay, this movie fucking sucked. That's all I got to tell you about it. It was ass, trash, juice, booty juice with everything, but I did not give 2 shits about this fucking movie. I was watching like, I don't give a fuck about him. I don't give a fuck about her. I don't give a fuck about the animatronic dolls. I don't give a fuck about the little. Nah, the girl was cool. But everybody else, fuck everybody in this movie. Fuck this movie. Fuck Blumhouse who put this movie out, man. I was sitting there. I didn't give a shit about anything about this movie. You know how sometimes you want people to die in a movie, and sometimes you're rooting for people in a movie. I didn't give a shit what happened with these people. And then on top of that, they want to do this whole. Why want to talk about this movie? This is why I wanted you to talk about this movie. Like, I don't want to say it sucked and just move on, you know. But anyway,
here's my review. Ditto.
So let me go forward. Let me just dig into it, because honestly, I was like, oh, thank God Eli's watching this movie, so I don't have to like really pay attention to this bullshit movie. But other things that was happening in this movie, then they want to be like artsy and shit and have like dream sequence and shit like they fucking Freddy Krueger and shit. Like, don't do that. Don't get through this shit and be done with it, you know. Now, I'm not knocking the movie because it's PG-13. I have no problem with it being PG-13. I feel like the violence went as far as it needed to go. It's just that it was just a boring ass movie. The funny thing about this movie, they had jump scares that I didn't even realize they were supposed to be jump scares. You know, when you hear jump scare, you hear like the sound like blip and stuff like that. I heard it first. I'm like, blip. Oh, was that something I'm supposed to pay attention to? Let me rewind and see what happened. Like, it didn't even catch me. I was so like out of this movie. I didn't care. So I was just so ready to be done with it. Oh man, that's all I got. I'm sorry. I know this is the highest grossing movie of all time. This is. Wait, I do want to make a disclaimer. I have no attachment to the source material or the IP of this like that. I know nothing about this game, honestly. I kind of like briefly looked up a trailer about it. It's like that, and that's it. So I don't know these characters. I know. I think one of the bears is named Freddy. I think that's all I know.
Yeah, I mean, my kid, like I said, my kid played this when he was younger. When he was a kid, when he was younger. He's an adult now. When he was a child, he played this game. It was basically like a scary game for kids, where you're a security guard and you have to basically monitor cameras and, you know, and because the ghosts are inside these animatronic Muppet things that
so you know more about this than I do then.
Yeah,
break down the lore for them, Eli.
Well, from what I understand, and I'm not deep into it, I can't explain. This is what I know is it's like a Chuck E. Cheese type of restaurant, and you're a security guard. The game plays. You're a security guard at night while this Chuck E. Cheese type of restaurant is closed, and ghosts, these haunted robot animals come to life, and you have to like fend them off by turning on different cameras and stuff. That's about all I know. So going into this shit, I'm like, okay, all you have to do is have robot animals fucking motherfuckers up. That's all you need. But for some reason, this had the most confusing, convoluted, incoherent plot ever.
Right.
Like, what the fuck is going on? Where are these animals? Like, what was going on? I don't know. They made this movie so fucking complicated and long. How long was this movie? Like a 2-hour movie?
Right. I was like, just get this shit over with, man. It's still going.
It's so fucking long. Like, where? Yeah, I get that. What was that? That Willy Wonka's or?
I was just about to say that Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah, it was a similar type of movie, and that was just okay.
That movie was awesome. I love that movie.
Oh, okay. Well, good for you. I thought it was all right. You know, But yeah, I get that they're not trying to like copy that, but come on, that movie was copying this, you know?
Right.
That's all you needed was just.
I mean, compared to this shit, Willy's Wonderland was fucking Scorsese. So yeah, I couldn't watch that shit. So
this could have been the Gen Z's Chopping Mall.
Right.
There again, an old movie no one's ever heard of outside if you haven't born before. 2000. Chopping Mall. Robots in a mall come to life and start killing people. That's all you need. And that's all this had to be. But for some reason, like, let's like make like
it's almost like they were kind of making like a art house, artsy, fartsy type movie. Like, why are you doing this?
And I'm like, and I kept thinking, okay, this could be like a kid's movie. Like maybe they're trying to make this for kids.
It's PG-13. It's PG-13.
Yeah, because it was PG-13. There was no blood. There was really no gore. Screen, the kills were pretty much off screen. Okay, if this is a kid's movie, I don't think children are going to understand this shit because I barely understand.
Right. I'm like, are kids into this type shit? I don't know this.
Yeah, and all the trauma he's got. Having nightmares because he's dealing with guilt and trauma. Like, cut with the emo shit.
I mean, because first I don't give a shit about that dude. So any problem he have, I don't care.
Yeah.
So what is he from the Hunger Games? Some shit. I don't know whatever. He has one of those faces.
Zathura. Again, I'm old. I know him from Zathura because my kid watched that movie.
What the hell is Zathura? What is
Fucking,
that?
that was about the kids playing that. It was like a Jumanji, only it's in space. They play the game, and what's his name? Favreau. John Favreau directed it. It's like one of his first movies before Iron Man.
Okay, now I'm old. I don't know what the fuck you just talking at me right now. I don't know what the hell, who did what. I just know that kid looked familiar, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm old. Hey, Jake, you ever heard of Zathura?
I don't know. What's a
mall?
What's a mall? That's
y'all missed out. We smoked it. It was a big ass joint. We all smoked, and you didn't get none.
Late to the party. So, oh man, that's all I got. This movie fucking. I don't know. I honestly, I think this is one of those movies that was not made for us. Eli. It just wasn't. Because I am hearing people online, like I said, I'm hearing it is a kids movie. Kids are liking the movie. You know what it is?
Okay.
I think it's like this with me in those Marvel movies, where it doesn't matter how bad they are. I see shit in them I like. Ooh, Dr. Doom, and ooh, look at this Easter egg and all this shit like that. And I'm hearing there are a bunch of Easter eggs in this shit. So the kids that grew up on this shit are seeing those Easter eggs. So they don't give a fuck how good the movie is, how bad the movie is, how scary the movie is. They see, ooh, I know that. I know what that is.
Ooh, a mother box. BVS is awesome.
That's what it is. That's exactly what's going on right now. So I can give two shits about going on.
BVS is so cool.
I know that thing. I know what it is. Hey, that's what kids are going to see. So they see
awesome.
Yeah. All right. Because for instance, the ending, where the bad guy got killed or whatever. Okay. Apparently that's a reference to the game or some shit. So they said when it happened in a theater, like the theater went wow because of the way he died. I'm like,
okay. Well, you know what? Good for them. People actually had a good time at this movie, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I'm not mad at anybody that goes to this movie and have fun, or go to any movie and have fun. If you go to a movie and you enjoy yourself, have at it. This movie was not for me. I'm like, man, get this shit over with, man. You know what? I had more fun watching Slaughterhouse than this bullshit. And Slaughterhouse fucking sucked. That movie fucking sucked.
Because I saw that was PG-13. And I'm like,
it was PG-13 also. Slaughterhouse was fucking terrible. But Slaughterhouse was to the point where it knew it was terrible. Like, I'm talking about Slaughterhouse for a second. The sloth was fucking using the computer and looking up his victims and shit, driving a car. He tried to break into the house of one of the people to get it, and he actually he had the cell phone where he was taking selfies of his victims and showing them, you know, come. It's a dumbass movie, man. Slaughterhouse is a dumbass movie. It just
I'm fucking watching that right after this.
Slaughterhouse is Scorsese compared to this bullshit. Five Nights at Freddy's. So yes, Slaughterhouse was fucking dumb. But yes, I
will give it one for that when the scene with the robbery where they broke in and those robbers were fucking up the place for some stupid reason, and then they got killed by the.
They were only in there to get killed off. It was like, no,
that was.
I'm not giving credit. I'm not giving credit for that. Eli. I'm not giving credit for shit they supposed to do. Yes, give us a kill scene. You better give us one kill scene in there. That's bare minimum. So I'm not giving credit for that.
Yeah, I'll give him one. I'll give it a 1 out of 5 just for that scene. But whatever.
I'll give them a 1 out of 5 for shit they supposed to do. You're supposed to obligated to do that.
I mean, that's what I was thinking. Is this a gateway horror for kids? Because I found it very old, and maybe they do understand the lore, and maybe this kid having trauma is part of the lore. I don't know, but I was like, this is so fucking cute. I don't care. After a while, I checked out. This movie's long, and I don't give a shit. Like you said, I don't give a shit about what's going on. Can we have Can these motherfuckers get eaten by these robot animals?
Right.
You know. Where's the beef? Come on. You remember that reference?
Yes, I am old enough to know that shit too. Oh man. That's all I gotta say about this damn movie, man. Why do y'all I need somebody to understand, because I'm missing a complete point of this movie. Why it's the highest grossing movie of 2023, or the highest grossing video game movie, highest grossing horror movie, and all this shit like that. I'm missing the point. I need somebody to break this shit down for me. Like, what are y'all seeing that I'm not?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if it's the kids that played the game, all went out as adults and saw this movie. And
I'm thinking that's exactly what it is. I'm thinking that's what it is. The kids because this game came way back in 2014, are now grown now and now watch this shit.
I was 8 years old and I saw Return of the Jedi, and I didn't give a fuck about the Ewoks. I had Ewok soap. Like, Ewoks did not fade me. Like a lot of people, fuck those fucking teddy bears. No, I was like, hey, Ewok.
I was a kid. I had an Ewok. I had an Ewok toy.
I had Ewok ears.
Yeah.
I had Ewok soap. I thought.
So these kids, they know all about the Five Nights at Freddy. They know they can break the lore down and all this shit like that. So I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I saw, and like I said, you know, I've been talking about these movies, and a lot of my favorite movies are movies that I saw as a kid, you know, and I still watch today.
You're thinking 30 years from now, some grown
motherfucker watching Five Nights at Freddy.
Five Nights at Freddy, top 5 horror movie of all time. You know, this movie changed my life and shit. You know? Yeah, they're gonna have their kids. You should watch this, and their kids ain't gonna give a shit. Just like when I try to show my kids Gremlins, you know, like what is this old shit? You know. Maybe it will. Like I said, this is I don't know. Hey, anybody like it, but I did not give a fuck about this movie. Yeah. And the thing is, Eli, you know me, I have like a low floor for anything. I damn near like anything we talk about on here. I can find you go see all the Transformers movies in the theater.
Yeah,
and I can find good shit about that Transformers. Well, I did like this, and Fast Furious, I did like this. I couldn't find anything redeeming about this movie other than, like I said, that one scene.
Fox bending over again. Damn,
right, but it's cinema. I can break that scene down what it meant metaphorically. You know, this shit, I did not give a fuck about this movie, man. I don't even know why we still because I was hoping, man, I hope Eli just watch this shit, trash it, so I can just say it sucked and we just move on to something else.
Talk about the subtext and what was Five Nights at Freddy's really about.
You're right.
Go all Jordan Peele on it and shit.
You are the Five Nights
of Freddy. It was a metaphor for consumerism and
racism, classism.
Yeah. The robot animals were a metaphor for.
Oh man, I honestly I don't care about this movie, man. I don't know. They talking about a sequel. This movie made so much money, you know a sequel's coming. So y'all have it.
Hey, if somebody's out there enjoying it, cool. I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad. Hey, it's getting people out to the movies. You know.
Yeah, I mean, because they not watching Peacock, so
yeah. You know, they thought, yeah, Barbenheimer was the reason people were going back to. No, man, we got Five Nights at Freddy too, man.
A video game horror movie. Who knew? Who would have thought? So
for kids.
Fuck Gran Turismo. Fuck Gran Turismo, one of my favorite movies of the year. Nobody saw that shit. But they gonna watch this.
You're right. I didn't see that, man.
You're on the wrong side of history, Eli. But anyway. All right, can we move on past this? All right.
Sure.
Okay. I just want to briefly review Loki. That's all. Just briefly. I'm not even talking about it long. Okay, Loki season, the next episode of Loki came out, and all I got to say is, what the fuck? Eli, the ending of this, everybody died. Kang died, Miss Minutes died, Loki died, Morbius died, you died, I died, everybody died. Everybody's gone.
Was there another snap?
Maybe. I don't know. It's just a thing. It's just like, the whole thing is like 4 episodes in, they were like, okay, we got to do this so this thing will happen. So this thing will happen. So this thing will happen. The thing they try to stop from happening happened. So I'm like, well, what do we do now? Oh, no. So everybody freaking out. Honestly, I think what's going to happen is going to be a dream sequence. They'll be like, oh, good thing we stopped before that happened. That's what's going to happen. So I don't know. I want to see if they stick the landing for the next episode, but I'm excited for the next episode to see where they go because like you can't end a show like that. Just everybody's dead. So I don't know. Peacock home of the rebooted Night Court of Five Nights at Freddy. Yeah. And Twisted Metal. Watch Twisted Metal. I don't think you didn't like Twisted Metal, did you? Like?
Oh yeah, I thought I enjoyed it.
Okay. I get confused on what we agree on and what we don't agree on sometimes like that. Twisted Metal is on Peacock. Yeah, so
Twisted Metal is cool. Old ass game that no one plays anymore. What was the last Twisted Metal?
That first game was on PlayStation 1, man. Nobody remembers
that. Yeah, like that's PlayStation 1.
That's all I got to say on that one. Okay, now I'm gonna throw it back to you, Eli. Now that we talked about a shitty horror movie, now you're gonna give us a palate cleanser and bring us back and give us some good recommendations. So
Sure,
we're gonna
okay.
go
Is
to
this my
the Eli Extravaganza Horror Minute of Mayhem Tales of Terror.
Halloween
Yes.
hootenanny or whatever?
Right.
Okay. So yeah, so this month I've been talking about movies, horror movies that I like to watch to get me in the mood for Halloween season. So this week, one of my picks is The Frighteners. Can you see? How do we get
Okay,
rid of
so
that?
so which one? Which Frighteners? Because they remade this.
Did they?
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
No shit. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the one from '96 or whatever with Michael J.
Okay.
Fox.
Don't ask me who's in the new one. The new one has people you know in it. But I don't remember who was in it.
Let's see. How do we get? Let's hide that. Can we hide that? Ooh, look at me doing stuff.
There we go.
Yeah. So The Frighteners. I think this came out in mid '90s, starring Michael J. Fox, directed by Peter Jackson.
Oh wow.
I think this was his first like Hollywood studio movie because Peter Jackson was in New Zealand making Dead Alive and Meet the Feebles and what's that fucking Bad Taste and shit. Yeah, he was over there. Heavenly Creatures. Peter Jackson had a long career before he ever made Lord of the Rings. And he worked in special effects and all that shit. So yeah, so Peter Jackson, he directed Dead Alive, which is one of the most, or AKA Brain Dead, one of the most goriest films of all time, in my opinion. Almost made me puke. That pudding scene, fuck that shit. But he, so he was doing like horror and working in special effects way before he ever did Lord of the Rings, a good decade. But in the mid '90s, he came to Hollywood, or actually they shot this in New Zealand. This was shot in New Zealand. But this is Warner Brothers. They hired him to make this movie, The Frighteners. Now, this was supposed to be a Tales from the Crypt episode.
Okay.
If y'all remember, HBO had the Tales from the Crypt series, and held horror down. Held horror down better than the movies were during the 90s. And so, yeah, this was supposed to be an episode of Tales from the Crypt, but they ended up extending it into a full-length feature, and they got Peter Jackson to direct it. Now, this basically a mashup of all types of genres. It's about a guy played by Michael J. Fox who can see dead people, and he lives with ghosts, and he has those ghosts go haunt houses for him, and then he shows up to these houses and has them basically cons them into exorcising the spirits from the home. So he's running a scam on people. He's basically a con man using ghosts to haunt houses and get paid to unhaunt them, ghost bust them. But then a murderous demon spirit starts going around killing people, and he has to figure out who it is. And so that's essentially the plot. It's kind of a goofy, zany, wacky comedy, but it does.
That's what I thought. I thought growing up that it was a comedy more than a horror movie. That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very funny. It's a very fun, lot of dark humor, a lot of goofy, campy, slapstick humor. But there is some pretty gnarly scenes. There's halfway through this movie, it turns into Natural Born Killers, where that demon is actually the ghost of a serial killer that's still trying to get the biggest death toll of all time and shit. And so yeah, and what I like is it kind of it's like a horror comedy, but it kind of mix matches all these subgenres of horror. There's you have your The Sixth Sense, you have Ghostbusters, Exorcist. Then you have bits of slasher movies and Natural Born Killers and shit. It's just kind of a big gumbo of horror genres all in one goofy, campy movie. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, like I said, I like breaking this out during Halloween just because it is just a fun, goofy movie. There's a lot of CGI in this movie that's kind of dated, but at the time this came out, it was one of the top CGIs out there. Weta Studios, the guys that did the Lord of the Rings movies, they were flexing their muscles with the CGI in the Frighteners. So, like I said, it's funny. It's Michael J. Fox. It's who else is in this? Dee Wallace. She was the mom in E.T. She played in Howling. She's a horror alum. The Fog. No, she wasn't in The Fog. she's been in horror movies. Cujo. She was in Cujo. She plays in this movie. Yeah, I just think this is just a fun, stupid, good time, you know. And directed by Academy Award winning director before he got famous. So yeah, Frighteners.
Eli, I told you wrong. I just looked it up. I thought that was a remake. They're working on a remake. I thought for sure. I thought it was out, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of fun movie. And I gotta do it. I gotta mention the OG.
Okay, let's go.
What Halloween season would not be complete without the OG Halloween movie? Right. Halloween 1978, John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael fucking Myers. What can I say about this movie that hasn't already been said before? This movie's already been well documented and analyzed, and it's appreciated as one of the best horror movies ever made, one of the best films ever made.
Yeah.
So there's not much I can really add to it other than the fact that this movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I saw this probably way too young. I was like 6 years old when it came on TV, watched it. It scared the shit out of me.
Jamie Lee Curtis starring vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah. Scared the shit. First movie I saw where a guy got shot and not died. Fucked me up. This movie probably traumatized. This movie's one of the reasons why I'm the way that I am. Yeah, I mean, I this movie is an exercise in terror. Michael Myers was so creepy and slow, and just like how he stalked and looked, and yeah, he was terrifying. And I got to give up to Laurie Strode, one of the best characters in horror of all time. I mean, the way she throws down at the end, I think that's why I.
We also got to talk about how Jamie Lee Curtis got the role to begin with, because, like I said, Halloween is a slasher movie. So basically, let's just say this: she's a nepo baby. Her mother was an actress, also Janet Leigh. And Turner Coast also. So Janet Leigh was the woman that got killed in Psycho.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, this is kind of like symmetry to that, because that's also, you could almost say Psycho was the first slasher, like it invented the slasher genre, if you really want to go there. So it is. We can talk about like the evolution of slashers. Yeah. Psycho, Black Christmas. Some say Peeping Tom, and some say the Italian giallo movies all had a hand in forming the slasher. Texas Chainsaw all had elements of slasher movies. Halloween perfected it and invented the genre. Halloween put the escape mask killer stalking teenagers. That was the blueprint for all the slashers to come. It spawned a whole craze, the golden era of slashers from late 70s to early 80s. A whole slew of movies came out, particularly on holidays. Like I said, My Bloody Valentine, Happy Birthday to Me, New Year's Evil, Silent Night, Deadly Night, all these holiday themed Thanksgiving, which is coming out in a couple weeks. This movie spawned a genre, and just watching Jamie. I remember watching Jamie Lee Curtis like stab Michael Myers in the neck, or stab him with the knife, or stick the fucking hanger in his eye. That was really intense. So the fact that when critics of the days were saying these movies were misogynist and sexist, and it just showing violence against women and all that shit, I don't agree, because I was empathizing with the women in these movies. I was rooting for Laurie Strode in this movie. I was rooting for the girls that were fighting Jason, in the Jason movies. That's why my favorite, one of my favorite final girls is Chris from Friday the 13th Part 3, because she sticks an axe in Jason's head and hangs him and shit. It's Jason, he won't die. But the fact that she was throwing down, that's one of my favorite parts in a lot of horror movies, when the victim finally says, you know what, I'm done with this shit. I ain't running no more. Let's go, motherfucker. That's such an empowering moment. And so many, what I love about horror movies, and why my favorite scenes in horror movies, where the victim says, fuck this, I'm not a victim no more. So that's what happened in Halloween. Laurie Strode fights back, and it was like, hell yeah. There was a turning point where I was so scared. This movie was scaring the shit out of me, but when she started fighting back, I was like, fuck yeah, get her. You know what I mean?
So yeah, this movie's a classic. There's really not much I can say other, to give it its kudos. But yeah, it's you got it's a Halloween classic, and yeah, it deserves to be watched during
one of the best
sometime
theme songs
October.
of all time, also,
and one of the best
not
theme
horror,
songs.
just period.
Yeah,
in general.
John Carpenter on the soundtrack. He directed. He was influenced by foreign horror movies, the Italian horror movies. When he was the iconic opening shot is in one take. He was influenced by other horror. When making this. And Deborah Hill, she doesn't get her kudos. She wrote most of the script. She's the one who totally, and all that banter with the girls and stuff, like that was all Deborah Hill, who gave the character, life to the female characters of the movie. So yeah, I mean, like I said, this is a classic. Yeah. So go check it out. April Fool's Day. Yeah. April
Evil
Fool's Day.
dies tonight.
Don't get me started, man. Don't get me started.
Trigger.
Yeah, Jake trolling and shit. That's a good one, Jake. Halloween 3. Actually, I don't mind Halloween 3.
I'm saying I heard good things about season, which I haven't seen it myself, but
yeah,
I'm hearing after people finally calm down and realize that Michael Myers doesn't have to be in every movie. Yeah. They can accept it for what it is.
They were trying, they tried something different. People didn't like it. They said, let's have Michael Myers back and let's make, 10 more shitty sequels with him.
Right.
Pow, 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 pow. Yeah. All right.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is number 1, and that's all you need to know.
Right. And Evil Dies Tonight is number 2.
Corey Cunningham, number 1.
Oh my God.
Corey Cunningham, the best Michael Myers of all time. Fucking that Kyle Rittenhouse motherfucker. Fuck that.
Can I?
Now you're triggering me, man. You're triggering me.
Can I talk about some horror shit now?
By all means, yes.
Okay. Oh, let me see. Do I have this set up? Okay. I saw a thing, and I figured, you know what? This technically qualifies for horror, so we'll do this. And yes, it's better than Five Nights at Freddy's. So yes, we're gonna talk about. Damn, I ain't sure. The House of the Fall of Usher. The
Fall of the House of Usher.
The House of the Fall of Usher. The Fall of the House. What did I say?
House of the Fall.
The House of the Fall of Usher. I said it right. Okay.
The fall of the House of
Usher. The Fall of the House of. Okay. That's what it was. Okay. There it is. The Fall of the House of Usher. Okay. I couldn't remember what it was. Okay. That's the name of the show. Okay. So it was a Netflix, not a movie, TV show. I was like, oh shit, let me just sit and watch this shit. Because here's the thing. I'm not one of those people that sit up there and just, search for Netflix shit or go surfing on Netflix and find the next TV show and watch the shit. I don't do that. I don't give a fuck what Netflix has on there. If Netflix has some shit that catch my attention, I do that, but I don't go searching for shit. But this is one of those things where people just wouldn't stop fucking bothering about this. Like my friend, you get it, what the hell's the first? You get it, what's the hell's the first? You get it, what? Why do I have to watch this shit? Why? So I watched it. But the thing is, what they didn't tell me is that Mark Hamill was in it. I'm like, you want to get me to watch shit? Lead with this. It's like shit. So
has he got a lightsaber?
He didn't have a lightsaber right now. Right. He's not doing Jokerish shit like that. And I'll be honest with you, he is awesome in this movie. In this TV show. He straight up is. Like, he is awesome in there. Oh, but as far as the show, it was fine. It's okay. I mean, it followed the form and stuff like that. It basically is a loose adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's plays.
That's what. Yeah.
It's not exactly like that, but it kind of at the end, like the end of each episode, it shows you, okay, this how it ties to the Telltale Heart. This ties into the Raven, and they do say, quote the Raven, nevermore at the end. Spoilers. They say.
Okay, so it is like it's not so much an adaptation of the story. It's just like an amalgam of just posts.
Yeah, it's right. Okay. It's like what you remember from those stories, they will do something to remember you about the story, but it's not an adaptation of those stories. So, but it's close enough, I won't go into too much detail about it, but overall, it was a good show. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I wish y'all quit bugging me about watching shit just because y'all like shit, Do you see me bugging y'all about watching some new Star Wars shit, new Marvel shit? No, I don't. I just watch this shit and have fun with it. So let me enjoy my shit and you enjoy your shit and stop asking me, have you watched it yet? Have you watched it? Fuck no, I ain't watched it yet. That's my review of House of Usher. House of the Fall. Usher?
Fall of the House of
Usher. Yeah, that. What he said. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I used to read a lot, read Poe and
it's been a long time since I read Poe. But if you read Edgar Allan Poe and you watch the show, you know where it's going. Even though they changed shit up, you know where it's going.
Yeah. It's gothic. It basically spawned the whole gothic literature and haunted houses and those horror motifs that we see in modern day horror are still the sins of the father, the secret family, the fucked up secret shit family's been doing, and the comment on like classism too, because they were rich folks. Yeah, they were like aristocratic assholes, fucking murdering each other for fortune.
That's what they were in this show also. So it's all there. There's a lot of people saying it was like Succession, but people saying that Succession kind of took from Edgar Allan Poe. So it's all full circle.
Maybe,
So does Usher make a cameo? Usher does not make a cameo. I was kind of hoping it would.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Oh well.
But Usher is in The Faculty, which was one of my horror flicks that I recommended.
Yes, he is in that. So go watch Usher in The Faculty. So yes, he is awesome in that. Does he have a dance number in that? Or is there She's All That? I can't remember which one. One of them, but he's in there. Okay.
Never saw that. So sorry.
That's right. You never saw She's All That. That's right. We gotta do a commentary on that.
Yeah. A deep
or
dive.
Not, moving on past that. Okay, now we're gonna talk to the video game section. Very briefly, I won't talk about the video game section, but this is something that caught my attention. I was like, whoa, they did what now? Okay, so out of nowhere, Arkham Knight did a update where just if I can find it. Yeah. The Batman. They put a skin of the Batman on there. Yeah. This official, not a mod or some shit like that. It's on there. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? So they put it on there, and then when news got out, like it was all over Twitter, like they just put the Batman in Arkham Knight. This is a new costume. So they put it on there, and like an hour later, they took it down so you couldn't get it. I like, fuck. So apparently it's a thing that's coming because I think they're about to put like the Arkham Knight on Switch. And I think when they put on Switch, they're going to add that costume to it. When they do, they're going to add new costumes and new stuff like that. So it's like a tease you what's going to happen. So yeah, like once they put that on there, they just give me another excuse to just play the game again. So I got to play it again.
I was not a fan of that costume. I'll be honest. Love the movie.
I like it. It grew on me. It grew on me. I don't know. It's practical. It's utilitarian.
I look like the Gimp from fucking Pulp Fiction. I don't know, man.
I thought it worked. I thought it worked.
S&M fucking Batman. Because Bruce Wayne was an incel. He probably did some kinky ass shit.
So that's my thing. So I just want them to put that in there. Put the Zoe Kravitz Catwoman in there. Give me all that. Hell, put the dude that was Riddler trophies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The fucking thumb drive.
Do all that. I will run through this game.
Oh yeah, Zoe as Catwoman would be dope. That'd be a dope.
Yeah, put all that in there. Yeah,
fucking Ozzy
Penguin.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so do that and then put it in there. So they put it in by accident. They did it before they were supposed to, but it's coming. I think they're gonna do it like next year. But yeah,
Arkham Knight, was that the one where you were in the Batmobile?
That's the one you're in the Batmobile. So yeah.
Fuck, I hated that game because of the Batmobile. I was so pissed off at some of those Batmobile missions. Were like, fuck.
They're easier than you think they are. Once you know where to go, they're
trying
pretty
to play
easy.
Like basically try to play Mario Brothers with a Batmobile,
like
jump in with the Batmobile, like what the fuck?
Oh man, it's easy. It really is easy once you play it enough times. So yeah, Arkham Knight is the best one out of all of them. I know that is a hot take. I know people don't agree with that, but it is the best one out of all of them. But yeah,
I like City.
Gotham Knights is on Game Pass. No, it's not. Next question. Okay,
it's not on game. Oh, it's not worth playing. Okay.
Right, it's not worth playing. It's on Game Pass, but not worth playing.
Yeah, you were streaming. I remember you streamed our Gotham Knights.
Right, I hated that fucking game. I hated every minute of the game. But I might play it again. I might pick it up again. I don't know. It's on Game Pass. Try it out, Jake. I'm hearing it's better than what it was, but I mean, you can only put so much sugar on shit. That's all I'm saying. So yeah. All right. So let me see. Can we move on to the next part of the podcast?
Okay. Sure.
like I said, this is the comic book bullies. We talk about comic books, and Eli, I'm gonna let you go first. So jump into some shit.
Okay. Let's see.
Because I don't have a whole lot of books either. I'm gonna do one retro. But yeah.
All right. Yeah. Kind of a light week for me, anyways. I guess I'll do this Marvel Zombies.
Okay.
Black, white, and red.
Black,
Number 1.
white, and red. Okay.
So you can, if you want to jump in on this, go ahead.
Okay.
But this,
I didn't read this, but
Yeah.
I did read the Marvel Zombies that you told me to read. I did read that. I read that in like an hour, like the whole thing. But yeah.
Yeah. It's a breezy read.
Yeah.
So Marvel Zombies, a very highly popular comic book that came out in the mid 2000s, just as the zombie trend was taking off. Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead and 28 Days Later kicked off a zombie renaissance. We hadn't gotten cool zombie movies since the 80s. We went like almost 20 years with no zombie movies. Hardly any. The 90s was like barren. They had like Cemetery Man and like maybe, the Resident Evil games kind of held it down for zombies in the 90s.
Yeah.
George Romero directed a Resident Evil commercial in Japan.
Okay.
So I think it was the popularity of the Resident Evil games, which like, hey, we need more zombie movies, y'all. So thanks to our God, our King, our Savior, Zack Snyder.
All
he
hail
directed
Snyder.
that, and James Gunn on the script. James Gunn wrote that original script for Dawn of the Dead, that Dawn of the Dead remake. I saw that movie like 5 times in the theater. Great fucking thing.
Damn, okay.
And then 28 Days Later. So that kind of spawned a zombie renaissance throughout the mid 2000s. We had a slew of zombie movies.
I know you don't count it, but I count I Am Legend as a zombie movie. I know you don't count it, but I do.
Yeah, that is a zombie movie. Yeah, I Am Legend. The Walking Dead comic came out. Eventually, the Walking Dead TV show came out.
And we do have to mention that the original Marvel Zombies was written by Robert Kirkman.
They got Robert Kirkman to write it. He's like, hey, man, you're the dude who writes Walking Dead, right? You want to write a zombie Marvel book for us? So that's what he did. He wrote about somehow a virus. I don't know how it got started. We could talk about that later. But anyways, somehow a zombie plague is unleashed and all those fucking Marvel heroes get infected and basically wipe out the whole earth in like 24 hours. In the lore, as long as they eat, they maintain their intelligence and their abilities as long as they're eating flesh. But the longer they go without flesh, then they kind of turn into mindless zombies and stuff.
And it's got to be fresh flesh. It can't be like zombie flesh or rotted flesh.
Yeah, they can't eat other zombies.
Right.
So that's the original story. But this is like a throwback to that. This is Marvel Zombies Black, White, and Red #1. I guess this is a new series, the start of a new series. But this is basically 3 stories. It's an anthology. 3 stories in one book. 3 10-page stories, very easy breezy stories. The best one being Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis wrote this Daredevil zombie story. Fucking dope. So a bunch of humans, they got Daredevil on chains and they put him in a pit full of zombies to fight. And they bet and gamble on these zombie fights with Daredevil.
So is Daredevil a zombie? Or?
Daredevil's a zombie. Yeah.
Is his chest blown out?
No, I don't know. That's right.
Because in that other one that showed me to read, his chest blown out in that one.
No, it's not. That's really weird.
That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm not gonna, pick apart
Yeah.
the story for that, but yeah.
So, anyways, but they give him, he and of course Daredevil, like you see him, he beats the shit out of all the zombie Daredevil beats the shit out of all these zombies in the zombie pit fighting, ring. And then for his reward, his keepers give him flesh to eat, So when he eats, of course, he starts gaining his intelligence. So while he's sitting in his pit of, carcasses and bones and shit that he's picked dry, he starts remembering his old memories, which is kind of fucked up. Leave it to Garth Ennis to, make it all, take a superhero and make him depressing as So he's remembering all his memories of when he was alive and, and how he used to be, but now he's this undead corpse eating flesh. And then he starts remembering all the people he's killed too. So that's pretty fucked up. But then guess who shows up? Your boy, Frank Castle.
Okay, Punisher shows up. Okay.
Punisher shows up. He's not a zombie.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And he's like, hey, you remember me? I'm the Punisher. I'm Frank Castle. You know, I feel really bad for you. And I know you don't like what you're doing. I know like you don't like your existence right now. So I'll just let me know. Here's a bunch of bombs. You can put them in your stomach. And the next time they put you in that pit, you can blow yourself up and take out all those motherfuckers with you. Because what they're doing is fucked up. So he does. He ingests he puts a bunch of bombs inside his guts and then goes into the pit and then blows himself up and takes out the whole gambling circuit, you know, gambling ring and shit. And that's it. It's a really cool short story. I thought was pretty dope. You know, then there was a Spider-Man one. That was just about before Spider-Man got turned into a zombie.
Okay.
You know,
did he eat Mary Jane and Aunt May?
Not yet. He doesn't do that yet. He does see the zombie Aunt May. But it's basically before he got turned into a zombie. He's trying to protect everybody. The zombie horde's coming down. He's trying to get everybody into the bugle, and then he ends up getting bit, and he starts turning. And at the end, he's just like, "Go, get away from me, run away now!" And that's where it ends. Because I guess if you recall, in the original Marvel Zombies, Peter Parker, every time he ate, he felt guilty about all the
right.
shit.
He remembered because he ate Mary Jane, not May.
He ate Mary Jane, yeah. And then the last story had fucking Moon Knight, and I barely gave a shit because I don't give a shit about Moon Knight. But Khonshu is there, and he fights a zombie Iron Man, and like Khonshu makes Moon Knight his zombie avatar, so Khonshu could do shit or some shit. I don't know. I don't care. I didn't give a shit. But yeah, there was a Moon Knight story. But yeah, that first story was dope. This gets a 3 out of 5 for me. No, I'll bump it to a 3.5 because just that Garth Ennis story was so fucking dope. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about we can talk about the OG Marvel Zombies real quick, just to give everybody the lowdown on it, you know.
Oh, like I said, it was just a crazy, insane story. People eating each other. They fight Galactus, and
they eat Galactus.
They eat Galactus, and they basically become Galactus.
Yeah, well, they get they first eat the Silver Surfer, and they get his cosmic powers, and then Galactus comes down like, "What the fuck? You ate my Herald," and then they end up eating him because they got his powers, you know.
Yeah, because they started using they built like some kind of nullifier or some shit.
Oh, that's right.
They ate something. They were just smart enough.
That's right.
To know how to build it. Yeah.
Was it Giant Man and Banner? They were like, we need to eat. So when they eat, they get their intelligence back.
Right.
And then that's like, okay, while we're intelligence, before the hunger starts again, we need to figure out how to, survive this, or how to maintain this new world and shit.
Yeah, so they built the nullifier right before they went hungry again and lost their intelligence. So
yeah, they have. And then Giant Man has T'Challa, like
in a basement, and
he's like
chopping pieces off him, like
they got him secretly. He's like secretly cutting pieces of T'Challa living. He's still alive, but he's keep cutting pieces of him off.
Yeah, and he's sterilizing his knives so he won't get infected. So
and then Wasp comes in and like sees him. You motherfucker, you're not sharing.
And then he bites her head off.
And then but then she's infected. But then T'Challa,
well, he spits the head. He spits the head out. So
T'Challa ends up escaping, and then he goes to the mute. Where's he go?
Asteroid.
Yeah. And then at the end, because Galactus comes, they eat Galactus, and then it jumps to 5 years later.
Yeah, T'Challa got a kid with one of the acolytes, and
the acolytes, and Forge built them like arms and legs, and shit.
Because Ant-Man ate them off or whatever. So
and then
Wasp
is a robot. Yeah,
she's a robot. Yeah.
But yeah, they don't really explain where the how the virus started.
I don't know if they did it in the Fantastic Four book that you read.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I went back because I'm gonna read the tie-ins this time, because I only read, like you said, I only read those 5 issues, those original 5 issues. And so I went back and read the tie-in, the Ultimate Fantastic Four, and it doesn't really explain that either, other than Ultimate Reed Richards is like, he's like in his 20s, like they're all young in the Ultimate Universe,
right?
The Fantastic Four. So he's like talking to a hologram Reed Richards from supposedly this world, and he's showing him how to like build this portal so they can jump universes. So that's what he does. He goes to that universe and finds out that he was tricked because there was zombie Reed Richards.
The zombies want to jump over, yeah.
And they wanted and they wanted to eat Reed when he got there. But Reed ends up getting saved by Magneto. So yeah, that's what happens.
Eat Magneto in the first book also.
They eat Magneto, but then the zombie Fantastic Four go over to the Ultimate, use the portal and go to the Ultimate Universe. So yeah. So I haven't read that whole run yet, but yeah, Reed has them like stashed in like the negative zone or someplace, the zombie Fantastic Four. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how the zombie virus got started. It says it came from the sky. I don't know. They don't really explain how everyone got zombified or whatever. But I do remember as a horror fan, when I heard about Marvel Zombies, I was like, oh, jeez. Because like I said, it was a zombie trend.
Right, zombies were jumping on the zombie trend. Yeah,
zombies were kind of played out. And when I saw Marvel Zombies, I was like, oh, geez. This bullshit. So yeah, I was looking at it through a horror lens, but no, it's actually a kind of a fun.
Yeah, it was just trying to be just a dumb, goofy story. That's all.
Yeah, it's just dumb, stupid fun.
Yeah, almost like a trauma book. That's what it felt like. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all right. So next book, first book I'm going to do is, I don't know why I decided to get this, Alan Scott, Green Lantern #1. Okay.
Heard this was a big seller.
Did you? Okay.
I heard this was like the big book of the week and shit.
I didn't know, but we'll talk about it. This is, for those who don't know, like I said, it's a bunch of Green Lanterns, but Alan Scott is the first Green Lantern. Before all the Green Lanterns, he's like the Green Lantern from the Golden Age, from the 40s and 30s, stuff like that. That's him. So they're retelling that story now, but it's still him in the 40s. So the story is placed in the 30s and 40s. That's what it's about. So, yeah, let's get to it. Alan Scott, the Green Lantern. Okay, so we start off with it. He is meeting with J. Edgar Hoover. I think it's like in 1940 something. He's meeting with J. Edgar Hoover, and J. Edgar Hoover is basically like, why aren't you hanging around with JSA more? Because right now, back in the 40s, Green Lantern, like Alan Scott, is the most powerful JSA member. He is. Matter of fact, he's so powerful, he don't even really like hanging around that much. He's like, why do I even need them? I can just do what they do by myself. Like, I don't need Wildcat and Black Canary. I can just do this shit myself, so he was like, and J. Edgar Hoover's like, no, you're going to do what I say. You're going to be with JSA, Mr. Scott. He was like, Mr. Scott, who's that? I don't know who Mr. Scott is. You're like, don't play with me. You know who Mr. Scott is. Because trust me, I know everything about you. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. And he pulls out another folder. And Alan Scott looks in that folder. You're like, oh shit. Okay, what time you want me to be at the JSA meeting? You're like, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. And then we look at the folder, what it is, and what's in the folder. It is pictures of him and his boyfriend chilling in the 1930s, which I'm pretty sure that was a no-no back then. So yeah.
Well, just like in The Watchmen. Yeah.
Just like in The Watchmen. But yeah, so that's what's going on right now. And then like we see some more pictures of what's going on, and basically it's just really hot dude on dude action. That's all this is right there. And you can imagine the YouTubers, Eli, because they released this panel before the book came out, and they went ape shit with this happening.
Of course.
Yeah.
Triggered.
They did exactly what they wanted to do. Like, thank you for promoting this book for them. So yeah.
Yep. Keeping the lights on.
Exactly. So basically, Alan Scott's boyfriend is this guy right here. He's Jordan Ladd. That's his name. They work for the Corps of Engineers, the Army Corps of Engineers, which we have one in Vicksburg. So I'm familiar with them. And they're basically working on this device to get this thing called the Green Flame, which is supposed to be this energy source at the bottom of the ocean, what apparently is a flame that is so hot it can flame underwater. So that's what they're trying to do. So they're building this machine to capture it and use it for the U.S. Army, because they got to capture it before, because they're hearing that the Germans, because it's in the 30s, they're hearing that the Germans have this new leader that's like really charismatic, and they don't know what's going to happen. So we got to get it before, he gets the stuff. So yeah, that's going on. And we cut to, present day. And basically this is fast forwarding, and he's basically talking to his butler or driver, whatever like that, basically how J. Edgar Hoover has dirt on him, because he was like, it doesn't matter how many times I save the world or how many times I've done this, done that. If they find out that I've been messing around with dudes in the 1940s, I'm done. I won't be able to be on the JSA or even do anything. So he's like, JSA, J. Edgar Hoover has the dirt on us. But anyway, they get an alert that some cops of it's a bad guy doing bad guy shit. So he goes out there and does some shit. Goes out there, and I just cut to the end. Look, the green flame or red flame, whatever like that, possesses boyfriend. The end. And what other some shit? Yeah, I'll just fast forward to the end. And I guess what happened is that when he watches his boyfriend gets kidnapped by the Crimson Flame and tossed in the water, so he thinks the whole time his boyfriend is dead. And next page, we see him committed in Arkham Asylum. And the next book is out. Next title is Conversion. Now, are they converting him because they think he went crazy, or are they converting him for being gay? Because that's kind of what conversion is. Yeah. Because remember back then in the 40s and 30s, they thought, homosexuality was a mental handicap or whatever, like a psychiatric, whatever you want to call it. So I want to know, is the story going there, that level? I don't know, because he's in Arkham Asylum right now. So that's it. Like I said, I really didn't want to. I didn't have anything else to read. I was like, what's going on with this book? Let's see what the big hoopla about this is. And it's just Green Lantern doing Green Lantern shit. So yeah. Funny thing about it, this whole thing about Alan Scott being gay, that's a New 52 thing. He wasn't before the New 52. So that's 2011 when they announced that, he was LGBT. Before then, he had kids. 2 kids. So, and they brought the kids back.
Green Lantern?
Alan Scott, yeah.
Yeah, Green Lantern.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So this is the one that was in Doomsday Clock, right?
Yes, that's the one that was in Doomsday Clock. Yeah. Because his boyfriend died and he was in the train and shit like that. Yeah, that was him. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The keeper of the Green Flame. But yeah. All right. So so what you got?
I got Predator versus Wolverine #2.
Okay. It looked like it was like in the past or some shit. I guess I don't know.
Well, it turns out this is like almost turning into an anthology book, where Wolverine is being chased by the Predator in modern day, but it turns out he's remembering that the Predator has been hunting him. He's had encounters throughout his whole life, with the Predator. So the first book was about when he was, a trapper up in Canada, working for the Hudson Bay Company and, working with the natives and shit. And then this one's about, I think, in the 60s when not Task Force, what are they called?
Team 6.
Team X.
Team X. No, not Team 7. Team 7.
No, Team 7's fucking Deathblow and Image.
Oh shit.
Team X, I think it is. With Sabretooth.
I think it's Team 6, 7, 8.
I thought it was X because it was X. They were like an offshoot of the X-Men or something. Or one of the pre-X-Men or something.
Right, but I don't think it was Team. I think they were called something else. Maybe not Team 7, because I think Team 7 is Deathblow. But I think because it's all Jim Lee. Because I think he called them Team 6 or Team 5 or some shit.
Actually, I could look it up. Well, anyways, that team, he actually fought the Predator in some South American jungle, with Team X or whatever team, the mutant team squad assassins, and they fight a bunch of Predators, and they actually team up with one of the. It turns out that there was like some, war going on, and they were supposed to, for some vague political reason, they went down there to do something, but it turns out the two armies banded together to fight because they were being hunted by the predators. So they all kind of join the humans and start fighting predators. And like Sabretooth gets killed. I think, do they skin Sabretooth? I think that was Sabretooth that got skinned.
Okay. He can grow back, so he'll be fine.
Yeah. Maverick and what's that guy's Mastodon or whatever the fuck. Anyways, the predators come and they just like fucking they end up like blowing up the place, blowing up the pyramid. Yeah, they're in a pyramid. It's just basically a battle between the predators and the soldiers and team. I'm trying to find it.
I'm looking them up too. I'm trying to find one of them old 90s Jim Lee books. Let's see.
Team X. Yeah, Team X.
Team X? It can't be.
Team X was a dirty crew that did dirty jobs, assassinate politicians, blow up a dam, seize an oil platform, take out a cartel. Yeah. This is Logan and Sabretooth and
Maverick. Was Maverick on there?
Maverick, yeah. Mastodon, a bunch of other people. So yeah, that's all it is. And of course, it was an army squad in South America. Sabretooth has a fucking Gatling gun. So it's basically a throwback to the original Predator movie, only with mutants. Because
that's basically what that team was. They were just like those Predator guys,
Yeah. So there's a scene. Yeah, there's like a page where Sabretooth's got the minigun. He's just like shooting blindly into the woods, like in the first Predator movie. So yeah, this was fun. This was cool. This, this is turning out way better than I thought it was, and the art is dope. At the end of the book, it shows years later. So after this happened, a predator shows up at the Weapon X facility, and it breaks in and it finds Wolverine on the table while they're designing Weapon X.
Oh damn! Okay, so it's all tied together. So okay,
I'm wondering if they're going to retcon, and that's how they got the predator claws. I wonder if that's where they got the claw idea for Wolverine. I don't know, but yeah, that's like the last panel to be continued. But this was fun. This is 4 out of 5. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Like I said, art is dope. Benjamin Percy writing it and killing it. So.
Damn it! I promise you, I want to say it wasn't Team X, but if it was Team X, then it just is what it is. So
that's what it said in this book,
right? And it may be. I know they said in this book, but I'm thinking back then I thought it was something else. They didn't call themselves Team X, but it was something else. And then Jim Lee said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna just take that shit and just call Death Blow and whatever."
It's in the '60s, so it's like pre like X-Men era. So that's that's why when like that shit happened to Sabretooth, I'm like, okay, this is in the sick. Does he have? He's a mutant by then, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right?
He, like I said, it'll grow back. So yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. Hold up. I think I got it. Damn it. Oh well. Next week we'll prove whether or not it was Friday or not. Anyway, what it was, I read that Gotham War Red Hood shit. I'm not gonna review it. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
It's a recap. It's a filler book. It really is. There's nothing happens in it. Joker shows up and runs away. That's it. We don't even know if he really showed up. It might be like fear toxin that Jason was hit by. So we don't even know if Joker was even really there or not. He just thinks he was. All right. Last book I'm going to do is a retro book from 89. You could say 80s or the 90s, whatever like that. This is from 89. Nope, not that one. There we go. Amazing Spider-Man 313. Now the reason I want to do this one because I was trying to find a horror book and I couldn't think of a horror book. And when I actually reading this ain't a horror book either. But I will say this: it's one of the hardest covers. One of the best covers of all time.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah.
Hold on, let me get back in there. Yeah, that cover right there. I love that. That's one of my first Marvel comics I ever got. And I saw the cover. I was like, what is this? Because I didn't know what Spider-Man was fighting. I was like, what the hell is that? like a demon or something like that? An alien? What is that? So then I decided to pick up the book just to see what it was. And then I found out that, it's Spider-Man has a villain called the Lizard. It's the first time I've ever heard of the Lizard. I didn't know Spider-Man fought dudes like that. So yeah. So this is a Lizard book, but it's also an Inferno tie-in. Now, Inferno was a 90s X-Men crossover event where Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen, opened up a hell mouth and demons spit out and took over New York. That's this book. So this book has nothing to do with it, but shit happens in there. So let's just get to it. Let's go to it. Like I said, retro book. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. So the book starts off with a shark in the Midtown tunnel, attacking them, swimming at them, because it's Inferno and demons and shit like that. So that's what they're like, what the hell's going on here? So the shark eats off the taxi cab that Mary Jane and Peter are in the taxi cab, and he goes over there and basically Peter looks at Mary Jane like, distract the guy while I do my Spider-Man shit, because he don't have time to turn into it. So he put his web shooters on, webs the shit up, webs the shark, slams down to the ground, does some scorpion, get over here shit, and then smacks the fuck out of him, knocks the shark out so he can't fly swim anymore. And then the cab just drives off while they go into Queens. Because the thing is, they realize that demons are taking over New York. So he's headed to Queens to make sure Aunt May is okay. So they get to Queens. Oh, meanwhile, this one, Kirk Connors is just like, he invited his family to come over because he's telling them that he's got the lizard under control. So I want to be back with your family again. But since all these demons are popping up all over the place, he's losing control. So he thought he had control, but he don't. So now he's slowly turning back into the lizard again. And now he wants to eat and kill shit. And Todd McFarlane is Todd McFarlane in this one. That's what I thought, like, damn, why did I do Spawn? But you know what? It doesn't matter. The way he drawing lizard on this shit is like, man, okay. So Todd McFarlane is the GOAT for a reason. So they get to Queen, and apparently Mary Jane has a cousin named Christy who has a crush on Peter, and Aunt May is there. The reason Aunt May isn't there because she's out looking for Peter. So she was like, okay, so she ain't there. I'm gonna go out and look for Peter. You stay here and let me know when. And they can't call on the phone. Remember, no cell phones. It's in the 80s. No cell phones, so they can't call Mary, and they can't call Aunt May. And the demons are fucking up the phone line, so they can't make calls anyway. And they can't get radio waves because they fucking all that up. So Aunt May shows up after Peter already left. It's like, where is he? Oh, he's looking for you. So he goes to where she think he might be, and that's when he's going to Empire State University. Yeah, so he's going out looking for her. And Kirk Connors, like I said, Lizard invited his wife and kid to there. And when they get there, that's when they get attacked by demons. That ain't got nothing to do with Lizard. They just there. They just demons just taking over the shit like this. So they get attacked and they go out running. And right before they get attacked, that's when, sidebar, because these 90s books were just weird as fuck. These kids sneak into a Spider-Man balloon like for the Macy's Day Parade. They just want to see what it looks like. And all of a sudden it wakes up. And now it's attacking the city. Back to Kirk Connors and them, stuff like that. And that is a Spawn demon right there.
Oh,
that
yeah,
is like
it looks like
the Violator or some shit.
Yeah.
That is, damn, Tom
No
McFarlane. Okay. Doesn't matter. We read the Spawn book without reading the Spawn book. But that's when Lizard grabs the Violator and he like, get the fuck away from my family, and tosses him out the window and shit. But then he looks at his family. He's like, oh, y'all look so tasty. And then Spider-Man sees a demon get thrown out of a window of the Empire State Building. He's like, oh, shit. I need to see what's going on with that. But before it goes there, that's when he sees a balloon version of him, the Macy's Day Parade version of him, Stay Puft Marshmallowing, stomping through New York City. He was like, let me handle that first. So he goes down there, fights the balloon version of himself. It turns around, looks at him, and flicks him away. You're like, oh, shit. So you're like, how do you kill a balloon? You're like, with a needle. So that's when he was like, okay, so let me find the biggest needle I can find. So he goes to the Chrysler building, breaks off the tip of the Chrysler building, and then jumps off the Chrysler building right into him. And he was like, crumb, and then takes him down. And he's like, oh, damn. Okay, now let me find out what's going on with the lizard. So the lizard is now looking at his family. He was like, I need to kill you to be complete, free of Kirk Connors, personality and shit like that. So right before he eats him, that's when Spider-Man shows up, kicks the shit out of him, smashes him down. He was like, we need to get out of here and get to the chem lab, because I know the formula to turn him back into Kirk Connors, but I need time to, put the formula together, why they do that. So he puts the formula together, and while he's doing that, Lizard is climbing up the building, getting ready to take him out, smash to the building, and he's like, okay, let's go. And he knows Lizard's coming for him, but he has to ignore his spider sense so Lizard can get close enough to him so he can hit him with the antidote. So he lets him grab him, and then he throws a antidote in his face. But the thing is, whatever his power, because these demons or making him more powerful than he's been before is not enough to turn him back into Kirk Connors. So he's like, okay, I need to get an electric charge to like really take him out. So he pulls like an electric cable out of the floor. He's like, I'm a shocker, but then his son pops up out of nowhere. He's like, don't hurt my daddy. And that's just enough for Lizard to smack the shit out of Spider-Man and then go for the kid. But that's when Kirk Connors started fighting himself. And like the left hand is reaching for the electric cable to shock himself. And Lizard's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to chop my own hand off. That way you can't attack me because I can just grow another hand back because I'm a lizard. But that's just enough for Spider-Man to like hit him with a Bunsen burner to just stun him just enough for Kirk Connors to grab the electric cable and shock himself, which is just enough to shock himself in the antidote, turn back normal. And then he tells Spider-Man to get his kids and get his family away from him because he's too dangerous. So, yeah. And that's it. And that's when Mary Jane shows up. Spider-Man, have you seen a student called Peter Parker? His aunt was looking for him. And that's when Mary Jane's kind of like covering for him. He's like, everything's okay, Tiger? Okay. The end. And Mary Jane has a stalker. So that's the book. So not scary at all. But you got a bunch of early Todd McFarlane isms in here. This is Spawn before Spawn. Hell, Lizard looks like Spawn.
McFarlane was writing this too, wasn't he?
Nah, let him tell it he was. Okay. But he wasn't. It's that gray area. You know that Marvel method where they actually had, what's the game? David Michelini? That's his name.
Okay.
But since the Marvel method is how you plot out everybody and stuff like that, and you basically like the artist plot the stuff out there, the artist wants to take credit for themselves.
Well, Todd McFarlane's writing style, quote unquote,
right?
It's always like, I mean, Greg Capullo even said, Todd would just say, "Hey, I need 3 pages of Sam and Twitch."
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know what I mean? And then he just draw it, and then
he
Todd
just draw
this.
So
and then he just put the letters over it,
So not this book, but there was a book later on where Marvel did just give Todd his own book. He wrote, he drew, he did everything. That book sucked. It really did. But this is written by another guy, but Todd will take credit for it, saying that basically let Todd tell it he co-wrote this book. Because all the pencils and all stuff like that, that's him, But that's another argument for another time. We let This Geeks and Comics handle shit like that. Oh, that legal jargon. So yeah.
I mean that art still holds up, man.
The art still holds up. Now, after watching John Romita Jr., then going back to this, it's like, man, give me this again. But after reading this, I was like, damn, I should have did a Spawn book. But
like I told you, I was reading the Ultimate Fantastic Four books, and that was like totally early 2000s.
That's what I meant to tell you about. Okay,
all digital. You can totally tell they're using filters and Photoshop.
Yeah, they were doing different stuff around the 2000s that they don't do anymore like that. But I did want to talk about Sue Storm in there where you posted that book. You said so. What did you say about Sue Storm? She's like a stripper or some shit like that.
She's like a cosplay or porn star.
Okay, glad you said about porn star. That's funny because those books, I could tell their art style. That was Greg Land's art style. And Greg Land got in trouble because he used to trace real people on those books. And some of the real people he was tracing was porn stars.
Okay, that makes sense.
So like when the women like make these faces like, oh, like when they get hit, oh, he's really tracing them when they're,
acting.
Yes, acting. That's the face he's making. So
because there's like I say, fucking Ultimate Sue Storm is hot as fucking his books.
Yeah, so she's probably like Gemma Jameson or some shit like that.
Something.
Yeah. So that's it. All right. So anything else we got to talk about, or? No,
I'm booked out. I mean, I read the new Conan, which was cool. It's continuing that story where he's fighting the zombies and shit, and still kind of wordy. And another book that was pretty cool was that Drive Like Hell. It's an indie book on Image.
And is it like an unlimited comics?
I don't know.
Unlimited? It's not? Okay.
I don't know, but I think it was on Image, but it was a #1, but it's like crime and demons. Like dude's a getaway driver, but he's dealing with demons. It's kind of a supernatural crime noir. So thought that was pretty cool. But I didn't feel the need to like really review it. But I think I might check out the second issue, and maybe I'll review it as a whole, like when the first arc is done, because it might be cooler as like a collected edition or something.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm booked out. Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, definitely check out this Geeks and Comics. Like I said, I don't know what books they're gonna recommend, but just check them out. Like I said, talk about the same shit we do, but different. You know, maybe they seen Five Nights at Freddy, and AKA David saying it's the greatest movie of all time. Because if anybody knows all that Easter egg shit, he would know it.
Yeah, he'll break it down.
He'll break it down.
He'll start getting into it, and everyone will tell him to shut the fuck up, David. Shut the fuck up, David. We want to talk about X.
We just mute him and just keep going. Oh shit! So yeah,
we want to talk about Star Trek. Fuck that shit.
Shout out to Jake, man, because Jake gave us this assignment. So he gave us the idea for this. Yeah, he's the one that told us to watch the movie. Oh,
that's right. Yeah, we did. Yeah. Hey, we did our homework, Jake.
We did our homework, Jake. I'm pretty sure he's gone by now. But anyway, we appreciate you. You gave us a topic for this week. So I don't know what we're gonna talk about next week. Something will pop up. We'll go from there. And yeah, that's it. Like I said, we roll into the holiday season now. So yeah. So until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
And Five Nights at Freddy, whatever they say in that movie, that's that. So yeah.
Same bully time, same bully channel.
That.